And you're back with Mr. C for another real world area problem. This is DLM 10. And so for today's real world problem, we're going to talk about two cell phones, cell phone A and cell phone B. And they have different screen sizes, as you can see. Here's the measurements here. And so our question, for a real world question, would be, how much bigger is one screen than the other? And of course we're going to have to find the difference or subtract when we ask if one thing is bigger than the other. It's difference or subtract. And so we're going to ask you to show your answer in simplified or reduced square units. And our answer will be something like this. Cell phone blank is blank bigger than cell phone blank. So to answer these three boxes, we're going to have to do some math. And the math is the math we've been working on for last week and this week. So let's go ahead and do our first problem like this. We have to find out the area of A. So to find out the area of A, we're going to fill in all these boxes. And we've talked about this before. To make a mixed number into an improper fraction, we're going to multiply there and add. We're going to multiply and add. Let me go ahead and zoom in a bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. 4 times 2 would be 8. 8 plus 3 would be 11. And then, it's fourths at the bottom. And then 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 more is 9. And these are halves, or 2s at the bottom. Okay, so we go ahead and measure, multiply sideways. 99 and 8. And then to find out what this is going to simplify is we're going to have to divide. So luckily we divided long time ago, months ago we did division. So let's go ahead and divide 8 into 99. And you can divide that any way you feel comfortable, but I'm going to do it the long division way. That's the 6th grade way. And we talked about this. 8 into 9 would be 1, and 1 times 8 would be 8. 9 take away 8 is 1. We'll drop down the 9. Our new number is 19. And the question now is, how many times will 8 go into 19? That is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. If we take away, we get a 3. So the 3 that we have as a remainder is 3/8. We'll write that as 3/8. Okay, so we can go ahead and fill in this box over here with these numbers. 12 and 3/8. And if we had to reduce that or simplify that, we would. But this one, there's no number that divides that 3 and the 8, so we're okay. So this is our final answer, 12 and 3/8. But we can't answer our final question until we do some more math. And we have a subtraction problem at the end. So this is our first step. If you want to practice this one before I move on, go ahead and pause the video and see what you get. And if you pause it, we're back together. So we do the same thing as last time. We're going to multiply here and add here. Multiply and add to get our improper fractions here. So 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 more is 10. We'll put a 10 here. These are going to be thirds still. We'll keep them at thirds. These will be fourths down here because they're fourths. We need to find out how many fourths are in this number here. So 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1 is 21. 21. Okay. So now we're going to do 10 times 21. And you can either do 10 times 21 is going to be 21 times 1, or 21, plus the 10, like that, to get 210, or you can do it the way we learned, which is the 21 on top, put the 10 on the bottom. We go 1 times 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. And put a 0 here. And 1 times 1 is 1. And then 2 times 1 is 2. And we get 210. Okay. So either way you get 210. Let's put 210 up here. 210 up there. At the bottom we'll have 12. Okay, then we're going to have to divide this. So we'll do another division problem into 210. And 12 will not go into 2. 12 will go into 21 one time. That's 1 times 12 is 12. I'm going to take away that. I can't do it. I'll borrow. 11 take away 2 is 9. 1 take away 1 is nothing. We'll drop down the 9. I'll drop down the 0 to make it 90. And then 7 times 12 is 84. And we'll do a takeaway. Can't take that. We got an 8. 10 take away 4 is going to be 6. And 6/12. And the reason I put 2 sets of boxes here is because we can simplify this down to another simpler answer. So we're going to have 17 here, and we'll have our 6/12s here, but we're going to have to simplify that. And the way you simplify that is if any number will divide both these numbers, you find the biggest number that will divide both of them. For this one, I can divide 6 by 6. I can also divide 12 by 6. And that'll give us 2 there. That'll give us a 1 there, sorry. A 1 there. And that'll give us a 2 there. So that means we'll still have 17 whole numbers, but we'll have the 1 and we'll have the 2 there, which makes sense because 6 things out of 12 would be a half. All right, so that's our final answer here, 17 and a half inches squared. So we have both of our answers. We know that A and B have a difference. We have to find the difference between those two numbers for our last step. So let's do our final step of finding the difference between those two numbers. So, all right, 17 and a half, and I'll take away 12 and 3/8. Okay, we can see that we have a problem in that we don't have the same denominators. And we kind of call it using the same language. So they speak a different language, and luckily we can make them speak a similar language. Let me go ahead and add the line for whole numbers and fractions over here. So we can make these speak the same language by simply finding a number that both numbers can turn into easily. Well, this number can easily turn into an 8. If I were to multiply, that would turn into an 8. This one already is 8, so we can just go ahead and copy that one over. So 3/8. But this one, I'll change it into an 8 by going times 4. So 2 times 4 will be 8 on the bottom. Now they have the same denominator. You have to change the numerator. I'll change it by doing the same number on the top. So 4 times 1 is 4. And you'd agree that 1/2 is the same amount as 4/8. 4 out of 8 is the same as 1 out of 2 parts. And so they're the same amount, but now they speak the same language, and we can do the math now. So I'll go ahead and get rid of this now. Don't need it. So now my problem is 17 and 4/8. Take away 12 and 3/8. Well, 4 take away 3 is 1/8. And 7 take away 2 is 5. And 1 take away 1 is nothing. So our answer is 5 and 1/8. as our final answer. So 5 1/8. So let's see if we can answer our original question. How much bigger is one screen than the other? Find the difference. Show your answer in simplified or reduced square units. So, can we simplify this anymore? Looks like nothing. We'll divide 1 and 8, so I think we're good there. So it looks like our final answer is going to be that we can see that cell phone B is bigger than A. We know it's bigger. We know the amount is 5 1/8. Let's go ahead and answer the question then. So our answer is cell phone B is bigger than cell phone A, and the amount that we found was this number here, 5 1/8. So 5 1/8. But remember, they said in square units, so we're going to say 5 1/8 inches squared. So now we've answered the question here. How much bigger is one than the other? We know that cell phone B is bigger by this amount. So thank you for learning this lesson here with Mr. C. And after this, you're going to be doing a math exercise on your computer to do some practice. So you'll be doing this lesson here from your Google Classroom, and you'll see that you'll have some directions. Read the directions, please. And you only have 3 problems on this one here to do. You have a problem like that. That's kind of a review from last week. This is a little bit harder problem. Find the area. And then you'll have a problem exactly like the one we did today, which is they give you 2 different values. Your job is to find the area for both, and at the end, find the difference between the 2. And you'll simply choose an answer from those 4 answers. At the end, I do ask you to explain your experience doing this, whether it was hard for you, whether it was easy for you, so I'll know how you're doing in math. So again, thank you very much for learning with Mr. C. Today's lesson was DLM 10. Thank you for learning with Mr. C.